Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. My video is looking very odd on my end, so let me check in and make sure it's not odd on your end. Okay, looks like it's normal. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's see who we have here. Hi, Artie. Good morning. Getting close, right? My daughter is heading back to start to get back to opening the salon. Thank you, Lord. Hi, Nellie. Hi, Samantha, Deanna, Hope. How is everybody doing? Hi, Joe from rainy England. Oh, I want to go to England, but I do get really depressed when it rains a lot. So I'm going to have to try to pick a time that is a little less gloomy. It's on my bucket list for sure. I've always wanted to go to London International Hair Show. I've heard mixed reviews, whether it's worth traveling across the pond because we have so many hair shows here, but always a new perspective, which is nice. And speaking of that, I had a guest on another group that I collaborate with my daughter and London, the hairstylist inner circle. And I had a guest, Justina. And just when you think that you've been doing hair so long that there's nothing new that you haven't heard of, she blurts out a trichology haircut. And I was like, what? I remember trichology in beauty school, but I remember it being about, having like a bald spot or people that twist and pull their hair and all those things and problems with the scalp. And she explained it to me and I was like, that is genius. That's the haircut that I need right now. I finally have a little bit of length. I have an accidental new hairstyle because of quarantine. It got really long. And I like it a little longer, but the ends look like a little rat has chewed on them because I curl it all the time. So I just want a dusting, and that's what her trichology haircut is. And she talked about how you bend it over your fingers and you cut those little fuzzy hairs that stick up that always used to drive me crazy when I saw them on clients. So you can never stop learning, guys. In this industry, there's always going to be something new and fabulous that will blow your mind that you never thought of. And that's why I love it so much. We can reinvent ourselves over and over again. The hair industry is very Madonna, Lady Gaga friendly. You can be, the all around generalist and do everything until you don't want to do that anymore. And then you can specialize in something and just really go all in on one thing, like be a curly hair specialist, be a color specialist. This person that I interviewed is not only a color specialist, she's a blonding specialist. Another friend that I've had the pleasure of meeting through social media is in Australia, and she specializes in redheads. That's her thing. She is known for her fun, fabulous reds. And reds, as you all know, can be really tricky. So there's so many ways we can live our lives, either behind the chair, not behind the chair, and still feel so connected and in love with our industry. And that's what I love so much about it. I have certainly worn many hats in this industry. I started out as a really, eager assistant. And then I had a lucky break and got behind the chair. And then I was a confused but busy colorist. And I got by because I talk about all the time that, you can be an okay colorist, but clients don't really know the difference because they've always gone to okay colorists. So they're only comparing you to the last person that was just okay. And they don't know what fabulous is. They think when they see Jennifer Aniston and people whose hair that they love in the magazines, they think it's because that was some fabulous, famous Beverly Hills hairstylist that knows more than any other hairstylist in the world. And trust me, as someone who has stalked every fabulous colorist in Beverly Hills, they're no different than you and I. They just have the pleasure of having their work featured on magazines where, it's so edited and beautiful and the perfect circumstance. I'm sure if we saw Jen Aniston during quarantine and she didn't have her private visits in her home and she couldn't get her hair done, she would look the same as the rest of us. Joe said, who is the redhead specialist? I need her in my life. She is Christina Russell. She's amazing. She, in my video with the 18 foil money piece, she had sent me one of her glitter boards. It's a balayage hair color board, but it's real sparkly and glittery. And she sent me one. And I said, oh, I'll try it. I don't use a board. So I use her board in that video. And that's her thing. Like, she comes up with fun new tools. She has an amazing personality. She is on my podcast. I'm on her podcast. Definitely give her a follow. Her podcast is Colors Christina, I think. I'll look it up and I'll post it here so you can follow her. But she also offers for my Hair Color Secrets Insider members, she offered them a free downloadable PDF about redheads, and she's going to do a lesson for us in the membership on redheads. It's interesting because, especially with strawberries, we don't realize how special a strawberry blonde is, because if you understand the levels of lift in hair color, red stops living in like level 8, right? So you don't have any red left at 9 and 10, or you shouldn't. It should be more gold and pale yellow. So strawberry lives at that 8.5, 9 level, that really light pale strawberry, but you don't have that warmth at that level, and it's harder to hold on to. So there's little tips and tricks that you need to do to make strawberry work that are really things that you would never think of. So she's amazing. And Justina specializes in platinum card technique to make people really super blonde that may have let their double process go a little too long, and you can't just put it on the regrowth anymore because it's too far away from the warmth of the scalp. And she's adorable. She's from Ireland, but she's Polish. So she has this little special accent that's a combination of both. And she just smiles from ear to ear, and she's absolutely adorable. So she jumped very spontaneously onto one of my lives last week. And I think I replayed it here, or I might have put it, I don't even remember. I can put it up on this page so that you can see that. So yeah, you know, the industry is anything that you want it to be, and you have to find, with everything, I tell my children, you know, right now, my daughter's salon, as you all know, your salons too, but my daughter's salon has been closed since March 16th. So the owner of the salon is not ever eligible for unemployment. I don't know if you know that. So if you're, you know, laid off right now and you're getting a nice little check and you're like, this isn't so bad, I get to stay with my kids and I get to do things I haven't done in a while, it really isn't that bad. For the owner of the salon, it's tragic because they have rent, utilities, tax, like all of the bills as a salon owner do not go away, and you don't get that fun little check in the mail. So she was like, holy crap. Like, she didn't want to necessarily come here. She didn't want to travel and get on a plane and risk bringing us her germs, or, you know, it was much worse. The cases were much worse in Pennsylvania, especially Montgomery County where she is, than they were in Florida. So she's like, I don't want to risk bringing it to you guys and get you sick and yada, yada. So she has a beautiful voice. She's a singer. She's in a band. So obviously the band is not playing anywhere because all the clubs and restaurants are closed. So not only did she lose the income from the salon, but she doesn't have the band income anymore. So luckily she's a bit of a hippie and she lives really simply. And I admire her for that. She doesn't run to Marshall's and buy 15 things she doesn't need because she's bored on a rainy day, like her mother, who she learned from the best. She's not into any of that. I'm in Marshall's and TJ Maxx withdrawal right now. So she lives simply and she's okay. But she's like, you know, I don't know how long this is going to last. I need to pivot and figure something out. So she's not a hairdresser. So I know a lot of hairdressers are running around doing hair color kits and selling products on the curbside, and they're sneaking to people's houses, which I don't agree with, but they have other ways to make some pocket money to get through this. So she had seen a couple of her friends who have nieces and nephews and small kids hiring these people who were doing Disney character, like in person. They would stand in the child's driveway and sing happy birthday to them dressed up like their favorite Disney characters. So she's like, oh my gosh, I can do that. Like, that's so easy. Why would I not do that? And then because I do a virtual platform and I teach everything virtually, I said, you can do it on all of my equipment to do it virtually. You don't even have to go and stand in the driveway. And then it's more personal because they can keep it, they can record it, all of that. So she created within 10 minutes. She got on Amazon, ordered her little Elsa costume and the wig and the magnetic eyelashes, and she does her makeup up and she looks really great. And her voice is amazing. And she's doing these personalized, happy birthday, Aiden. You know, I hear you're 5 years old. And, you know, she makes it super personal. She talks about their favorite foods, their favorite colors. And they're just like, it's so adorable when you see the recording because they're like, oh my gosh, Elsa is actually singing me happy birthday. So that's a pivot. That's a like, get scrappy, do what you need to do to pay the bills. And for her, she's like, I put a wig on, I put some makeup on. I love to sing. I love to see kids be happy. She doesn't have kids of her own yet. And, you know, we're not really around kids a lot. So that was cool and fun. And it's something temporary. So even if it's not your forever thing, just making a shift. If COVID and quarantine has taught us nothing else, it's that we can tend to get a little complacent and a little too comfortable. And we start going through the motions. How many times have you driven to work and you get there and you're like, I don't even know how I got here. Like, I don't even remember turning the key to put the car on. You're just so on autopilot that you take the same route. And unless a fire engine goes by or a police officer has his siren on or something major shocks you into realizing where you are, you're completely on autopilot. And you get there and you're like, for me, put the key in the door, turn off the alarm, go in, hit all the usual light switches, put the stereo on, go check the voicemail, turn the computer on, make sure there's clean towels in the bathroom, make sure there's clean towels at the back bar, make sure the shampoo's stocked, turn the coffee pot on. Like, it became so routine. It made me lose my mind. I was just like, I'm going to lose my mind if I have to go through this routine one more time. But it had been 33 years of the same, not really the full 30 years, but a good 25 of those years were Groundhog Day. Do, you know, put the coffee pot on, make sure that over and over and over again. And that's in a creative business where I get to do hair color corrections and different services to at least switch it up. I can't even imagine doing the factory work of, you know, the Lucille Ball where she's doing the candy and you just keep putting the candy in the box, putting the candy, like that kind of work. I cannot even wrap myself around being able to do something like that kind of mundane activity every day, all day long. So we are very blessed, but it's completely entirely up to you to pivot in a way that serves you at this stage of the game. So what worked for you 10 years ago may no longer work for you. And sometimes it's as simple as a class that you wander into at a hair show. You know, we have these booklets at the hair show and it's overwhelming. For me, I'm like a little kid in a candy. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I want to go to hear that guy Larry talk about taxes. And I want to go and hear about the Malibu treatments because I'm not really that experienced with Malibu. And I want to hear, you know, how you use that crystal gel. And oh my gosh, I want to go here on the social media and learn about hashtags and how to take better pictures. And all the classes seem to be at the same time, right? It's so overwhelming. You're like, where am I going to go first? And then you stay a couple days at the show, but those classes keep banging up against each other. I don't know if that happens to you. It happens to me all the time. And as someone who educates at the shows, my class is at the same time as the number one class that I want to go and be a student in. So then I feel FOMO where I'm like, well, I'm teaching. Of course, I want to be in my class, but I'm missing what's in so-and-so's class. So the beauty of now being able to do everything virtually is I'm able to give everybody everything and they can watch it when they feel like it. And I'm so blessed to have been able to figure that out. But that didn't always happen. Like, I'm 53 years old. I was not born. I didn't come out of the womb with an iPhone in my hand the way kids do now. You know, they literally 2 years old, they're like playing Candy Crush, you know, like it's amazing and sad at the same time because I think kids spend too much time with that blue light. And I think it's damaging their brain, but that's a whole other coffee chat. So everything you do and every decision you make is entirely and totally up to you. And then you have the person that says, I can't because if this, then that. If I had more time, then I would. If I had more experience, then I would. So I just interviewed Ruth Roche. If you're not familiar with her, she was a huge Redken artist back when I was in my 20s. I went to Redken on the regular for every class I could get into my brain. That's how I discovered Beth Minardi. That's how I discovered Ruth. And something that we got into with the interview was, I said, how did you get so daring and creative with your techniques? Like, I watched her go into a really thick, coarse, curly head of hair at one of her classes, and she wove through the way you would with a tail comb, like the way that you would with a highlight, weaving big sections. She used the blades of her scissors and wove through the hair and literally cut down like right at the base of the hair, where you would be brave enough maybe to do that with a texturizing shear on an angle where you're only cutting the little hairs that fall into those giant SpongeBob teeth on the texturizing shears. But she did it right at the base of the hair and like removed, like you could see the big strand of hair. I was like, I've never been as confident of a cutter as I have been as a colorist. So my breath was taken away, and I was like, she is amazeballs. I am so enamored with her bravery and what she just did. How the hell, A, do you wake up one morning and say, I'm going to try this? Obviously, hopefully she tried it on a doll head first, but that's what it takes to be at the height of your craft and to be, at the level that we all aspired to when we got our license, of where we wanted to be someday, right? But where did we go off the wrong path or get stuck that we're not there where she is? Now, she also has had to pivot a few times. Like, just because you got to that level where you're on the stage and everybody's looking and thinks you're wonderful, it's tough to stay there because you have these influencers creeping their way up and biting at your, spot because they're younger. Maybe the companies can afford to pay them less because they're newer. And that happens in corporate America all the time. And I'm sure right now it's really happening right now because companies are realizing that they don't really need these big brick and mortar office buildings, and that people can work from home, and that they don't really need as many employees as they thought they did. So there's going to be a lot of fallout from all of this, good and bad, because some people are going to lose their job that should have left a long time ago, and we're stuck in fear and the what ifs. So they're being given the gift of, they're being told you can no longer be here. And I can tell you a million stories of, Justina, I was just talking about you. Justina just joined us. She's the one that's the blonding expert I was just gloating about. So Justina, they all want to find you on social media. So be sure to put your Instagram handle and how they can reach you. So sometimes we need that rug to be pulled out from underneath of us to cause us to take the action that the universe was pelting us with signs. I just interviewed my life coach yesterday for my podcast, and we were joking saying, before I met her, there were so many signs that this is what I was meant to do at this stage in my career. It's not to say that I wasn't meant to be a salon owner. I wasn't meant to be a colorist. I wasn't meant to be any of those things I was. It's that it's time now for me to pay it forward and unload from my brain everything that I've collected and learned that has made me successful and enabled me to share my knowledge and train a colorist so much faster than most salon owners that are in that grind of Groundhog Day that aren't going to education. They're not, trying to polish up their teaching skills. They're not trying to learn how to be a better educator. They're just trying to get through the day. And I told you earlier, Justina missed it, but I told you earlier that salon owners are struggling to pay their rent right now. They're not thinking about how they can be a better teacher to that new associate that they just hired that needs their mentorship and their help. It's not that they don't care. It's that they just are pulled in so many directions that they just can't do it all. And that's why when I created this education new pivot, I was like, I want to be that person to that salon owner, to that new stylist, to that middle of the road stylist that you're at, like that halfway where it's like, is this my life purpose? I've been at it about 15, 17 years. Do I want to retire and get a pair of golden shears, or do I want the corporate watch? Do I want to do something more maybe in the sales end of the beauty industry and retire with the trip to Hawaii and the gold watch, which half of that doesn't exist anymore anyway. but there's so many choices. So don't get stuck in the fear of the unknown. Get using this time right now that is such a gift that we're so in a panic mode that we can't see the gift in it, and that's something that we'll look back on, I'm sure, and say, wow, for me, I learned how to cook. I was forced to learn how to cook because all my go-to places that we would get takeout from or eat out have been closed. So it's been nice. We've been able to sit around the table as a family and have those family dinners I didn't have when I was building my salon. My kids never got to eat dinner with me unless we were out at a restaurant, and it was when the salon was closed. So my son, has said to me multiple times during this quarantine, wow, you're like the mom I never had. And I could easily get really hurt by that he feels like I wasn't there for him as a mom. Of course, he's joking, but he's saying, like, we didn't have that Brady Bunch. Everybody sit down and put the cloth napkin on your lap and say grace, and we're all going to pass the biscuits. Like, no, that didn't happen. It was my husband doing the best he can to put something on the table so that they could get to soccer practice in time, or get to voice lessons, or get to play practice, or, whatever activity the kids were doing. The dinner was like a necessary fuel to keep everybody alive. It wasn't everybody tell me about your day. What I did do really well was vacations. I made that a huge priority. And when my husband proposed to me, I said, before I give you an answer, I need a promise that we are going to go on vacation every single year. We're going to do something special, even if it's one night overnight, for my birthday, your birthday, and our wedding anniversary every single year, and a family vacation for a minimum of a week every single year, whether we have the money or not. And he didn't grow up that way. He just kind of looked at me like, I don't know if I can promise that. And I was like, well, then I don't know if I can say yes, because they're my non-negotiables. Like, I need to know that I'm going to see a different place and experience a different culture and I have to travel. It's like, travel's like oxygen to me. I have to have it, and I have to have that to look forward to. So he's been a good sport, and I've drugged him all over the place, and my children, but they both say, like, for Christmas, and I know I'm all over the place, but I have to share this. With Christmas, whether you're Jewish, Hanukkah, whatever it is, for the holidays, the kids get to a point where there's nothing that they need. They have the iPad, they have their own cell phone, they have that special skateboard and that Razor scooter. It's over. Like, there's no more wowing them. And you start to run around and purchase things that are completely unnecessary just to wrap them, just to have them under the tree, to surprise them when they're like in their teenage years, 14, 15, like they're in that goofy, awkward stage. And you're like, okay, they don't need a car yet. There's no big purchase that you can wow them with. And I made a commitment. I said to my husband, we are doing experiences. We are not doing stuff, because you all know 2 days after Christmas, that special wow item is now like, they don't even know where it is. And if it has a bunch of parts, they don't even know where the parts are. And even when they're small kids, we always give and have too much. And I taught them about giving back and donating time and money to good causes. Like, instead of doing some XYZ for your birthday, let's adopt, a child I think we adopted a goat in another country or something for my nephew. And when he opened his thing, he was just like, I'm getting a goat. Like, he didn't get it at all, but my kids got it. And they were like, we are so glad that we had those vacations together, because now my son lives in a different house. My daughter lives in a different house. We live in it. Like, we're all separated. I mean, COVID has brought us together, which I'm super grateful for, but we're all doing our own thing, and it goes really fast. So that Gap sweater or that Bloomingdale's skirt that you had to have for your 20-year-old daughter is not going to be remembered. But that dinner in Aruba where you laughed so hard that you spit water across the table, or the lobster fell off the plate, or you have all those memories forever. The photographs, the video, the experience, we swam with horses in the water. We're up to the horse's neck in the water. We played with elephants in Thailand. We swam with stingrays on jet skis in the Caymans. And trust me, we're not millionaires. Like, these things happen because we didn't buy all of the crap that breaks and gets thrown away. We said, like, if it was a special birthday for my daughter, her and I would go and get a massage together at a fancy hotel and have like tea while we're getting our toes done. And those are experiences that we absolutely love, those memories. And she still looks to do those kind of things with me now. So it's something that bonds us forever. I can be 80 years old and go and get a pedicure with her. It's never going to get old, and it's never going to not be a thing that we can do. So rant over, but that, I don't even know where that came from. I didn't even have too much coffee today, but I'm a little all over the place. So what I wanted to share today is, on the note of the hair show with the overwhelming schedule and all that, how many times have you gone to a live event, whether it be one company's, you go to say Nick Arrojo's, his new American Wave, I think it's called, where it's like a loose beach wave kind of perm. You go to an event like that and Nick is up on the stage and he does his thing and he tells you about it, and you have like a burning question in you, but it's such a crowded event and there's so many people, and you're either very introverted and you would rather die than raise your hand and have everybody spin around like The Exorcist and look at who's asking a question, and you see all the faces looking at you and you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry I raised my hand. Or you raise your hand and you raise your hand, and this is me. I'm this person that's like waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And then they go, okay, everyone, that was wonderful. Thanks for coming. And I'm like, hey, still here, still have a question. And then I get in line to wait. The line wraps around the room for everyone to hug and take a selfie with the teacher or get a book signed or something like that. And then the next class has to happen, or they have to clean up the venue or whatever it is. Basically, time's up. And there's like 3 more people in front of me and then me. And they're like, I'm sorry, we can't take any more questions. So that's been the story of my life. And that's why, as an educator, I do things a little differently. And a lot of my members will say, I can't believe you answered me so quickly. Like, I just finished typing that email and you answered me right away. Like, how do you do that? That's why I do that. Like, it triggers me to be ignored. I don't like being ignored. Like, if the answer is no, just say no. Don't just not answer my email at all. I have a list of people I have to follow up with that just simply ignore me, and I don't like that. So that's why I'm so like on it. I get a message, I answer it. Unless I'm incapacitated or asleep, I answer as soon as I can. So that leads me to my announcement that I wanted to share today. So I just did a big launch for the membership, and beyond grateful for all of the new members that have taken the leap in the middle of a quarantine when you're out of work. And I can't even believe how many people were ready to take that leap in this circumstance. I almost didn't have the launch because I felt like it was such a bad time to even ask someone to join something that would cost money. But I also saw from these coffee chats and from jumping into the hairstylist inner circle that there was a need for that community piece, like to have each other to lean on, to have that. There's so many solo suites popping up and people are missing that community piece. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to offer it and just see how it goes. And we had 119 brand new members join us. I'm beyond grateful for that. So for the people that they just couldn't make it happen, or you're just not ready. You're like, membership, what's that? How involved is it? I don't have time as it is. But you're that girl like me that's in the back of the class that's like, I have a question and I just wish someone would answer it for me. And it could be that burning question is the golden key to everything else. So if you're struggling with formulation, I promise you it's because you were taught the way that all of us were taught, that when a client wants a level 8 result, we show them, I don't, but a lot of colorists show them the thing and say, pick a color. And they pick an 8N or whatever. And you go, okay, tube of 8N. Oh, she's a level 4. I'm going to need to go 4 levels. Let me use 8N and 40 volume and pray to the hair gods that it turns out. And we end up with orange. And then we're like, oh my gosh, I need to change color lines. This color sucks. It made her orange. There's something wrong with that tube. I need to go and change brands. And you change brands and you do it again and you get orange again. And you're like, oh my gosh, why did that happen? I was taught 8N and 40 volume was going to get them there. And I could go on and on. So that was the inspiration for my book. Most of you coffee chat loyal peeps that come every week, you have heard about my book. You either have my book or don't have my book, but you know about it. So of course I don't have one here. I had one here yesterday. Oh, here it is. So it's called A Colorful Journey by Elaine Travis. And this was the result of me absolutely loathing winter and storms and snow. My kids were at the age where they no longer needed their mom to go sledding with them. So it was like this horrible storm, and I was going crazy because I couldn't do hair. The salon was closed. And I had tried, talk about pivot. I just kept trying, like, do I work for a color manufacturer? Do I go do those product knowledge classes in salons? How do I get the word out that I want to share about hair color? So I was like, you know what? I'm writing a book. Wrote the book, didn't think it would be any big deal. I thought I would give it to like my new hires or maybe my friends would want to read it. I really didn't think that it would be as popular as it became. So it's been 4 years and the book is still selling. People are still writing to me saying, thank you so much. That math equation has totally changed the way I color hair. I was ready to quit. I thought something was wrong with me, yada, yada. So it's still for sale in paperback, an actual book form. And I also have been able to create a digital version and be able to do it in an instant download. So that's been incredible, where I can talk to somebody, they reach out with a question. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's in the book. You need the book. And they're like, I want it right now. I don't want to wait for you to ship it to me. And I'm like, no problem. I can send you the digital file. You can watch it you can read it on your phone, iPad, whatever. So both of those are available. So then, someone will get the book and something will be in there and they'll have like a really quick, simple question, right? And then they're like, well, how do I find that lady again? Like, where's more of her information? And they might watch a YouTube video and I may almost say the answer, but I don't know what the question is. So I might have talked about something that they're like, yeah, that's more. It's given me more, but I still have a question about that one thing that was in the book. So this summer, I told you I was a planner and I told you I love to travel. So this summer, the plan was to rent an RV and travel to places in the United States that my husband and I have never been because we didn't want to drive that far. So now we live in Florida. So we're closer to some of the areas that I would have not wanted to drive from Pennsylvania, but I can easily drive from Florida. So the plan was, let's just get the heck out of Florida because it gets way too hot in the summer. It's already soup out there, very high humidity, feels like 102. And let's just hit the road. What I do, I can do from my computer. So as long as I have an internet connection, I can serve my members, I can do my membership, and we could just go. And the kids are grown. This is awesome. So of course, the world just completely falls apart when I have that plan. And I'm like, pivot, right? I don't tell you to do anything I don't do myself. So I'm like, okay, how can I pivot? I was going to do a book tour. I was going to go to any beauty school that would have me, teach a free class and say, hey guys, if you're struggling with formulation, here's my book. I hope you'll take it, digital or physical copy. For $25, I can change part of your career. I can really help you with hair color kind of thing. So I was like, okay, no book tour, no travel. What can I do? I really want to concentrate on sharing the book a little more with people that may be struggling. So I was like, you know what? I pivoted to online education. Why not do an online book club? My daughter invited me to her first book club that she hosted for the book Untamed. I talked about it here on the coffee chat. I loved the book and I loved the book club even more. I've never been part of a book club. I've never had time. I was in the salon 12 hours a day, worked 6 days a week for all those years. I didn't have time to talk about what happened in the oh my God thing that happened in that trashy novel. So I missed out on that. So I went to my daughter's virtual book club and I loved it. We broke out into little groups that you didn't know who you were going to get. It was like a random, it was like, and then you had 3 people on the screen. You're like, oh, hey. And you talked about a set topic that was in the book. And then you talked about each other's opinions on it. And I loved it. So I was like, okay, it's summer. Summer is the time when more hairstylists go to the beach. They want to sit and read, and they might not necessarily want to read sci-fi or mystery or murder or any of that stuff. They may want to read something about hair color, and they may want to do a deeper dive. So I am announcing today the beginning of the very first Colorful Journey book club. So you can purchase the book, and people that are watching, a lot of you already have my book, and that's okay. There's an option for you too. So starting with, if you are a member of Hair Color Secrets Insider, please don't feel like you're going to miss anything with joining the book club. You guys have book club with me every month, every day, every week. You have access to me all the time. So this isn't going to be something new for you, and it's not going to be information that's going to, make your life any different, because you already know all the stuff we're going to talk about. You're absolutely more than welcome to come. I always tell my members, anything I do, you guys are invited. So it's not that you're not invited. It's just that it's going to be more basic, beginner to the things that I teach that other people don't know, kind of thing. So that's that. So don't scramble to get the link and purchase it. I don't want you to spend money on the book club. This is for people who don't have the book or have the book and have questions and want a little bit more one-on-one time with me and aren't ready to join the membership. So if you have the book, there's a different link. Do you need me? No. There's a different link on the page for already have the book, just want book club. I want the digital version of the book and book club, or I want the signed paperback version of the book and book club. So I'm announcing it now so that there's enough time for me to sign and send out the book to you, and you have it and have time to read it before the first session of book club. So I'm going to share the link for that. So you can click on that page and check it out. Somebody click on it to make sure that everything is good and the link is working. And then I will share my screen and give you guys a little sneak peek. So when you click that tab, this is what you're going to see. And it says, that's the picture of the book. And it says, book club just got a lot more colorful. Have you ever read a book and so badly wanted to chat with the author? Well, now you can join the club. Series of 3 sessions. Up until a month ago, I had never been part of a book club. I finished the book Untamed, and my daughter invited me to her virtual book club. I love the experience so much, it made me think, why not host a book club for colorists, a colorful journey book club? We'll be diving deeper into the concepts and having a series of 3 live virtual book club discussions. So if you look at these dates and you're like, crap, I have something, I have a wedding, I have this, I have that, it's fine. You will be able to watch the replay. Of course, I would love to have you there live, because we'll see each other on the screen and be able to speak like, face to face, like we're in person. So I would love for you to try to make those dates. So I'm going to keep this up there for a second. If you want to take a picture of your screen or a screenshot and just try to mark those dates if you're interested. I did it at 8 p.m. Eastern so that our West Coast people can do it, and East Coast people, and hopefully, people abroad. I don't know what time it is there, but I tried to pick a time that the most people would be able to make it. So these are the options. You can do the digital book and the book club together is $37. The signed paperback and book club is $54 because it costs me more money to ship. The book costs me more money and the shipping costs me money. That's why there's a big jump in price. And then already have the book, join the book club alone for $27. So I hope that you guys will join me. I'm very excited to be able to do my first ever book club and just answer some questions from people that just, want one little question or just a little bit of a deeper dive, especially with the math equation. I get a lot of questions about that, and it's always such a simple answer that just flips the, confusion a lot to where it's like no longer confusing. So let me check in on questions. Joe, I hear London is amazing, and I will get there at some point for sure. I'll let you know. We can have coffee. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Iris. Iris said, mention pods. What pods? Pods. I'm trying to think of what the pods would be. Let me know, Iris, what the pods are. Adrian, good morning. Currently looking for my niche, what I enjoy the most. Just think about, Adrian, the way that you find out what your passion is and what you should be doing more of is, would you wake up on your day off really early, like a time that you never normally get up, like 4 a.m. If you're normally a 6 a.m. person, 4 a.m. If you're normally a 9 a.m. person, 7 a.m. But you would get up 2 hours early and go and do that all day long and know ahead of time you're not getting paid. That's how you find what your specialty is, because you love it so much that you do it because you want to do it and not because it's your job. I hope you're doing well, girl. I hope you found a safe place to land and have a new journey ahead of you. Sandy, 40 years. Yep. I hear you. I hear you, girlfriend. And you're beautiful. I can't believe you even are old enough to be doing something for 40 years. Pam says, I'm speaking to her today. Pam, I'm so happy that I'm speaking to you today. I'm a little scrambled today, but it all comes together eventually, right? My ADD. Sometimes hate listening to people talk here because it's not real. Yeah. It's real, real and unscripted, as you can see, because I go all over the place. Louise is from the UK, loving the course. Thank you, Louisa. I love that I have some UK girls in my course. That's so exciting. I'm an international educator now. I can put that on my plaque. Justina's here with us. You guys are going to connect with her. She's amazing. Karen, you are wonderful, Elaine. So sincere and generous. Thank you, Karen. That's so nice. Elizabeth has to run. She's back to work. Justina says, my husband says he hopes I won't forget about him when I go back to work again. He is truly enjoying me being at home because he never, yep. Isn't it the truth? It's been a real gift for sure. Tammy said, great idea. London, hey girl. Julie, I did the mom thing with dinners at the table, then went into the beauty industry. Yep, that is a rough transition. And we all gain weight. Well, I shouldn't say all, but everyone who's ever worked with me in my salon has gained an instant 10 pounds with getting used to the crazy schedule of getting done at 10 o'clock at night and going home and eating dinner and going to bed. So it's definitely an adjustment for your schedule. And Maria from Abu Dhabi. Wow, we are getting international with the coffee chat. I hope my book club goes international. Maria, I hope you can join the book club. Tammy said, that's me. Carolyn said, can you please tell me how to get redhead red without roots? How to get redhead red? Do you mean hot roots, Carolyn, maybe? The reason that hot roots happen is because, again, with the chart, we look at a chart and we say, oh, I want this shade. I want this copper red. And it's done on a swatch, so it must be what I need to put on the hair. So 6RC, you take the tube and you put it on the roots of the hair. And what happens is 6RC is being put on, say, a level 5 or a level 4. So while it is depositing the red copper, it's also lifting the natural hair. And you'll learn all that. I hope that you'll get the book because I go into that in great detail on why redheads don't really need red in the formula. Most of my redheads have 0 red in their formula. So you're a good candidate for the book and the book club. Tammy said, you are the hair industry's best kept secret. Stop keeping me a secret, Tammy. You got to share me. A girl's got to eat. Now that I cook, I got to have money to pay for the food. But thank you. That's sweet. Irene, thank you. Nellie's asking Justina to do your, to connect. Joe, I was told this too. I have to use 9% to get from level 5 to level 8, 9. Yes. Joe, it's an impossibility. And that's what you're going to find out and feel better about it. Joe, her book is on its way. That's awesome. So I hope you join us for book club only, Joe, since you're already getting your book. Louisa said, great read. So easy to read. Loved it. Thank you. Tammy, you can't hear the info enough, especially my memory. Oh, don't even talk about memory. I'm right with you, girl, for sure. Sandy said, I often use natural and gold with my reds because so many true redheads have a more neutral base. Yep. Yep. That is the ticket. So I think that's all the questions. And of course I went really long. So let me make sure that I share that link again. And did anybody click on that and can let me know that everything was good and it came right up for you? Because I always have my technology things that can go mad on my links. Somebody click on that for me. I have clean hair today. I really hate when my hair is clean. My hair looks dirty when it's clean and clean when it's dirty. It gives me more oomph and zhuzh when it's a little dirty. Justina, you missed me raving about your trichology cut. So I think, Justina, I think you need to go live on the on this page and do a trichology cut for us because everybody's as intrigued as I was with your technique. I really love that. So let's do that. Let's plan on. Cool. Lisa said it came right up. All right. Awesome. So I hope to see you all in the book club. I will be back next Wednesday with yet another fun, cool project that I'm working on. I'm hoping to be able to unveil that. But let's just say, save those dates for book club and save the dates October. I'm going to be making another fun announcement that you're not going to want to miss. October 18th and 19th. Try to save those dates, the whole days. Pretend like you're going to an amazing event those 2 days and just hold those dates. Tracy, I think, did I write back to you? I know I changed your email in the course, so you should be good to go. I did get that. Yep. Got it. All right. Awesome. Have a great day. Enjoy your coffee. Have a great rest of the week, and I will see you all next week.